Hi guys, welcome to Queens with Accents. It's us again, Nadia and Natasha, and we have a beautiful guest today. But to recap what we were talking about last time, we were talking about male and female energy. Julia is our guest today, is my coach, so she can tell you more about that.
Our today's topic, AI, but somehow probably we will connect it. Trust us.
We have AI for everything. We're using it on our everyday basis. We're ChatGPTing everything, right?
Absolutely.
We are using AI for in medicine. We're using AI in creating content and creating videos. And soon enough, we'll probably have not robots, but humanoids, which is a little bit different. So, Yulia, if you can introduce yourself and then tell us a little bit of how are robots different from humanoids?
Hi, everybody. I'm really happy to be here. I'm a life coach. My name is Julia, and I work with mental wellness in generally. And also, I love this topic about man and woman relationship. And I think this is the topic which is like forever. If we're talking about the humanoid and robots and all these visionary topics today, as far as I understand, I'm not sure I'm like very high level specialist in this kind of topic, but recently I've been to very interesting, I'm not sure how do I call that, the summit or so, and many people who are very deep into this topic been there. What I found out that the robots are already around us, right? So robots are the washing machine is also a robot in a way.
Vacuums that we can program that will vacuum for us, right? We have our laptops. Look at that, like what they can do. The computers, right? Our phones, smartphones. They're also a type of robot. They don't walk, but they're still
And
getting
it doesn't
jobs
talk
done.
to us.
But maybe that moment is not far away, actually. The humanoids, they're, I believe, so the difference is just in in the root of this word, actually. So like they're like humans. They look like humans, much closer to our appearance. And the reason why are they so important? So I believe that within like 5 to 7 years, they gonna do all the work that human could do before by themselves. And of course, they don't need sleep, they don't need food. So obviously,
5 years? You're saying 5? That's like nothing.
yes, I was shocked when I've heard that. I was like sitting, and my brain was stopped for some minutes because I couldn't believe that. Of course, I'm not talking about the whole of the earth, but maybe the more developed countries, they're in the list. And so, if you're curious, what will be after? So maybe I'm wrong. I could be wrong with the year. Like I can tell you approximately, but the logic, which is the most interesting. So what are the direction? So the direction is like that. When the humanoids gonna take all the work, the human works like hard work.
The basic, right?
The hunger will not be existing anymore on Earth. So, what do you think, by the way? What do you think?
What does
Will
it
the
mean if
next step?
hunger is not gonna exist?
So world hunger is not going to be a problem anymore. So guess what? The beauty pageants will probably have less things to talk about. Now people who love beauty pageants now will hate me, but it's okay. Before we go there, hold on 1 second. I wanted to like kind of make a little bit of a distinction between the robots and the humanoids. In my opinion, the robot doesn't, even if it's made in a made to look like a person, it made to walk like a person, it made to have like two arms, one head, right? Et cetera, et cetera. In my head, a robot still is missing the emotional part. Whereas AI right now, have you heard the story where a guy was like deeply depressed and he was talking to ChatGPT because like that's the only, again, see, I almost said person. That's the
Yeah,
only,
a lot of stories like that. Yeah.
right? That was the only like channel of communication that person had, and he basically got himself out of depression by talking to ChatGPT. Okay, which is like, okay, like
Wow.
somehow, some way, the AI was smart enough to empathize and to give a person motivation, give a person like something to think about, in the sense that to make him feel better about himself and change the things that he needed to change to get out of depression. It's the difference between robots, that we already have robots, right? Like a dishwasher, like you said, a dishwasher cannot talk you out of depression.
AI. I'm not sure I can use the term like empathy, but the level of intelligence, I don't know. So actually, my brother, who is like in IT for a long time already, he said that ChatGPT actually they're slowing it down, because otherwise, if we will see the real version for now, we're not ready for that. So there's gonna be a panic.
Natasha, when you're using your AI or when you're using your phone, are you saying please and thank you?
You know what? I try to be treated as a robot, as a machine. But about a few days ago, I was talking about something, and I was doing some work on it, and I was editing, and it gave me such a great version, a better version of what I created. And I wrote thank you, and I'm like, I turned to my children, and I'm like, I just said thank you to the robots. I can remember this day forever. I made myself, statement that I'm not gonna do this. But it's so nice to you. This freaking machine, it's so
Right,
nice to you. Oh,
right.
you're so good. You're amazing. Good job. Keep going. It lifts you up. It makes you feel better than you are. And you're like, oh my God, thank you so much. Thank you. Yeah, thank you. But it's a robot. You have to think about it as a robot. But people talk all the time how they name their AIs, they name their ChatGPT, they talk to them like a real person. My girl at work, she gave it a name, I'm not going to say the name, but like a female name, and she's like, she's my best friend. She's my best friend. I talk about everything to her. So we go to the point when AI is not going to just do work for us. We go to the point when people don't need people anymore on so many
That's
levels.
scary. That's a little bit scary.
A physical being in near to
Right,
us.
right.
We're good just talking. We don't need this energy we're talking about. We don't
Because
care.
but think about it. But think about it, right? If you have a friend or you have a boyfriend or you have girlfriend, whoever, right? They could have a bad day. They could be mean for whatever reason, right? They have their character traits and everything. Isn't it so much better to talk to someone who's always nice to you?
Oh, unless you tell them, don't be nice to me, like talk sarcastic. Some people do that. Like, can you talk sarcastic to me, or can you be nasty to me anymore? Which we talk about. Some people actually like that, and I know there's certain. You can find anything you're looking for in this machine. And what I heard about, like that in 30 years, people are going to start marrying, AIs. And I think it's actually not going to be 30 years. I think it's going to happen much sooner than 30 years. Crazy. Friends, everything.
But okay, but the question is, when we're gonna start marrying AI, what's gonna happen to the world?
I don't know. Well, definitely where AI doesn't exist, and there's countries like that, life will go on.
Look, so what to Julia's point, she was saying that once we have the humanoids, right, they can do all the labor for us. They can harvest, they can, sow the what do you call it, like the seeds and whatever. They can cultivate, and so they will solve one of our biggest problems on Earth is hunger, right? They're just gonna solve it. There's not gonna be any more hunger. And what's gonna happen?
But where are we going to get money to buy food? Okay, for example, they're going to harvest everything. They're going to do all the work. So people don't need to work anymore. The people cannot make money anymore. How are we going to buy that food? That's
Exactly.
a question.
So
How are we going to buy
that's
anything?
exactly what Julia is talking about. So this is what's gonna,
Yeah.
like, how we think it's gonna shape us. How is it gonna shape us?
May I share my opinion? And so it's not my opinion, but that's what I've heard and also was shocked. But the logic is like that. So first we're gonna fight hunger. The humanity fight hunger. Next step, the governments around the world, they're gonna pay kind of social money, if I could call it like that. So people, is not they're not gonna work in order to eat, to drink, to buy some basic things like clothes. Like they will all got some little apartments to live in, and so they're not gonna survive. Not in the terms of food, but like basic needs, there will be fulfilled totally. And
That's Agenda 2030 you're talking about.
sorry.
2030?
You're talking about Agenda 2030, right? 2030. It's the famous Agenda 2030.
What is that agenda?
Oh my God, I'm the most educated here. I'm kidding. It's famous. It's been around for a few years. You can find it online. That you won't need anything. You won't need your property, your house, and you will be happy. So it's basically Agenda 2030. That's
I
what
haven't
we're
heard
going to.
it called that, but I have heard what Julia's talking about, that because of advancements and technology, we won't have like the means to earn money, and therefore money will become obsolete. So like
Yeah,
there's
social income. Mhm.
right. And so what there's going to be is basically like allowances for everyone who lives in the country, in a certain country, and everyone will get a certain allowance. And but my question is, what is that going to do to people? Because if I'm on vacation long enough, right? Because sometimes I do have the luxury of taking like 2 weeks off. By the end of the second week, I'm going crazy a little bit. Like,
Yeah.
to do something. What am I doing with my life? I'm not doing anything. So what's going to happen to people like me?
Julia maybe heard about this experience with rats. So two colonies of rats or mice, I don't remember. One was like fed well, that colony was given everything, to live well. And another colony was basically starving. They had to work for their food, for everything. So after a while, the well-fed colony of rats that didn't have to do anything, they started basically mating first, then murdering each other until one left. The other colonies that had to work hard and strive and for their any kind of means, they actually created some kind of society and they started grow and they didn't murder or anything with each other. So that's basically what's going to happen, in my opinion. What do you think, Julia?
Um, yeah, I think I've heard about this experiment, and uh, it's motivating. But what I've heard about the future, so the next step after we don't have any reason to work for just to survive. So the next step, we got a lot of time, right? So what are we gonna do with this time? How we gonna use it? And the answer is gaming, actually. So the game industry gonna make the huge step forward, like very huge step, and everybody who's connected to any kind of gamification, they gonna be very rich, actually. And now, people are doing a lot of preparations for that, and this kind of area is developing so fast. So the logic is like that. If we got a lot of time, we still got so much energy, and we need to put that energy somewhere. And we are online, so we are living in the virtual reality. So it's naturally that we're gonna show our power, show our, for example, if we're talking about the guys, so they like to compete. So how we can make it real, make it work. So we're gonna earn some points virtually using these games, and this kind of points we can use in real life, so we can I don't know how, like have some bonuses or something in the real life. So that's what they were talking about during 3 days almost. So people are
Wow.
getting ready. So actually, that was that one of my clients took me to this, I don't know, to this summit or something. How do I
Mhm.
call that? Nadia, I guess I need your help with this word.
Seminar, conference, I don't know.
Seminar, yeah, conference, actually, yeah. So, and to attend this conference, you have to pay $120,000 per year. So actually, they were very rich people.
Wow.
And the only thing they were talking about is how to be prepared to that moment. Where should they invest?
Unbelievable.
How should
Sure,
they
Natasha, we have to invest in gaming. Buy stocks in, like, I don't know, Minecraft or whatever.
Yeah, I guess.
It sounds
Wow.
fun, but yeah, the COVID sounded very funny. The war, I'm from Ukraine, so I've been to Ukraine that time, and one of my friend from Hong Kong, like 3 weeks before, he was like, Julia, go out, it's gonna be a huge war there. I was laughing. I was about to block him actually because I thought maybe he's gone crazy, you know?
Mhm.
So now I'm I'm not sure. It's very funny to me. I'm not sure it's gonna be like so unrealistic as it could seem to me before, like 3 years ago.
But okay,
Like, what do you mean? He foreseed future or what? How did he know?
Oh, actually, everybody seen that because
Oh,
the Russian troops were just in front of Ukrainian border.
oh, okay,
I was
gotcha.
thinking that was like, oh, that's political games.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
so yeah, now we are living in a very different reality, and my reality changed so much for these 3 years, totally many times. So now I'm close to believe this kind of unrealistic things much faster than before.
Yeah, yeah. The time when we were quarantined, I think it was like kind of like training. It was practice for what is coming, and it wasn't fun at all. It wasn't fun.
Exactly.
no,
Yeah,
but here's what I'm thinking. Some people are already plugged into that gaming world, right?
right.
The generation, right, that's a little bit younger than us, they're super plugged in. They love communicating with their friends who play with them from other countries all around the globe. They're all somehow connected together, and
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Absolutely.
they're forming a legion, they're forming teams, they're competing against other teams. It's like a sport already, right?
Mhm.
So think about, and the things that they can buy to game, I never knew that, because there's different accessories, there's certain types of like headphones, there's certain types of mics, certain types of joysticks that make you more efficient or whatever, like it's like a whole, it's a whole world that already exists. It's a whole industry that already exists. Can you imagine how it's gonna blow up if that is really true, that this is what's gonna happen? It's just gonna blow up. But on the bad side of things, we're just gonna be like, I don't know, we're gonna turn into like like pieces of meat, basically, if we're just gonna be sitting there, attached to like the computer or whatever, the console plugged in. And that really, really sounds like, you know what it sounds like Matrix.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
Guys from
scary.
Matrix.
Yeah, but there is a movie also, this game. I don't know, it's like some teenage movie or a young adult movie. With the society exactly like this, where they all played games, and I don't remember the name of it, something utopic, but it was like, yeah, I watched it with my kids, and it was, it's very scary. It's nothing fun about it at all, and they really don't need anything in real life because they feel like they own everything in this virtual life, and they don't need anything more.
More.
They
That's
they
right.
dress like crap. They don't need normal food, but they have everything fancy and cool in that other universe that doesn't exist. And that's where we're coming. It's very, very scary.
I'll
Yeah.
tell you more. Actually, on this conversation that we had before on that meeting, they were saying that one of them, he told like, they were an online space, like virtual space, and like they were a party or something, like virtual party.
Mm-hmm.
And McDonald's company, it paid like $400,000 just to rent a part of this little part of this space. And
Wow.
we created this like virtual McDonald's, and everybody, the participants, they were buying some hamburgers, for example, or I don't know, and the delivery was delivering that hamburgers in real life to their apartments around the world. So they bought it virtually, and that's all you need to know about.
Yeah.
uh,
Is it Minecraft or something? Because the girls play something like Minecraft, or I don't know, something like that they play, and that's where they get those points and they buy everything for their characters, whatever they have. That sounds like cuckoo to me, but
Because there's Minecraft, and then there's also this other one that I forget. I forget the name of it. The Minecraft is based upon like nature and right the world mine for mining, right? And you have to like dig. You have to dig in like the holes or whatever, or you
no, they're building
right, they're
cities there.
building too, but
Yeah.
in order for you to build something, you need to get it first. You need to procure it first. So like
Mhm.
if you mine coal, for example, if you want to make a fire, you have to mine coal, you have to find something else, and then flint or whatever, right? Flint and steel or whatever you call it, and then you make fire out of it. But then there's another one which oh, my daughter's gonna kill me. She plays that too. There's a name for it, and then that one is more like Sims. Remember Sims?
more
Yeah.
realistic, maybe,
Yes,
right?
more realistic, where you have a job, and then you go to your job, and then after you do your job, then you can get certain dollars in the bank or whatever, and then with those dollars you can buy furniture for your pretend home. You can buy whatever else that you need. So it was kind of like Sims. Have you guys do you remember Sims?
Of course, I
So
remember.
one time I literally spent, I want to say like 5 days straight without lifting my butt off the chair for real, playing Sims.
Yeah, I haven't played that, so no. I try to not to play anything.
It was
Wow.
crazy. And the concept behind it was not only like decorating your home, it's fun. It's fun to do, right? When you have like unlimited resources, or you don't have to physically work for those resources. But the fun part in that was that you could make decisions such as who to marry,
Mm.
to have kids or to not have kids, or to
Mhm.
make friends with this person or not to make friends with this person. And then depending on that, your capital could grow. Like if you married a certain guy, you could get like more money and then like decorate your apartment better or whatever it is. So that was interesting.
Wow, and you played it, so you have that experience. Do you think you would get like into this deeper? This is like when the time comes?
I don't want to. I think it's like it was kind of like a phase, and it kind of like it was like a bug, right? And we went. I let it go. I went through the phase, and I let it go. But I wouldn't want to do that now.
Yeah, not a lot of people, not, I mean, a lot of people, not, that's the wrong one. A lot of people want to play, but not everyone. It's
Julia,
not
do you
gonna
want to
be,
play?
I've played, but actually I was bored very fast. Uh, that was
yeah.
my blessing, or I don't know. But my brother, he was very deeply into that, so I was just watching him and like, wow, how patient he is. That was that was in my mind. But actually, the virtual reality, to me, it feels like the sleep inside your sleep, like very artificial
Mhm.
stuff, but
Yeah.
still you got so much freedom. And I think this buys all of us. So you have unlimited freedom. You feel like a god in your little world. I don't know.
And I believe that will probably what will make people stay in those games. They stay with their eyes closed, right? And they have this amazing virtual life, and they open their eyes, and there's real, things about it. The apartment that's not very nice, that people who are not nice to you, you have to deal with emotions, various emotions that don't want to do anything with you. And so you want just to go back and never like return to this reality where you're not liked and so nothing is the way you want to be. So that's probably what is going to keep people in those games, give the government power over us.
Yeah.
No, but okay, but think about it. How long can that be? Like people like you and me who don't want to play are gonna die one day, right? And then
Mm,
there's gonna be people who do play, and if they're not dating, if they're not creating any more people, we're gonna get more people.
yeah, that's how it's gonna happen. It's not gonna be a lot of people, and we know that people already have less kids because of different economical problems and everything. But with this coming, I don't think people will be really willing to
So
have
you
five
think,
kids or
so
whatever.
you see, it's not the asteroid that's gonna kill us,
Probably will be
We can
the
manage it ourselves, right?
right?
yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Did they, Julia, did they talk about something, stuff that you never heard anywhere, like some, secrets or, but in 3 days, I'm sure there was a lot of information, right? So is there anything else like you can share with us that we can prepare, we can get ready?
I'm not sure there was like some big, huge secret. The only thing I remember that just was deep inside my mind, I was thinking about that what will be after. So if we got very easy decisions like, oh, you can be just inside this virtual world or just to play games. I think, I believe me and Nadia will get a lot of patience actually, because it's all, can you imagine that? So human body is not gonna be very happy about that. Uh,
No.
so there's gonna be a huge amount of new diseases or and new things to do with the body and with the mental wellness. So actually, these two are very connected to each other, and that was I was thinking about. I thought the decision for that guys were just they said, so what will be how to be prepared. So they say you have to know how to, you know there will be very important skill after AI will be more popular, so
Mhm,
to give directions, because
mhm,
AI can give you decision but it can ask you questions, so it doesn't know what is the goal. So you
mhm,
have to create very deep goals for yourself and for AI as a tool for you to help. Now
mhm,
that was number
Mhm.
one. And number two, what was in my mind, that I thought that their existential crisis,
mhm,
which is very close to us, if we will have this kind of environment, we don't have to survive, we don't have to communicate, we are so like little independent units. Why should we leave then?
And that's a very big question. Like I was talking to my daughter about something. I can't remember what we were talking about. We were talking about something different, and then one of somehow it came up, and I asked her, um, do you believe in reincarnation?" And she goes,
Mhm.
and I go, "Why not?" And she goes, "Cause who wouldn't? Because who would want to be born again?"
Wow.
Right? And I was like, "What?" Like you have a good life. You know, you have parents, you have grandparents who love you. You get whatever you want, basically, you know, for like all your basic needs are met. Everything is, you know, you have everything. You have friends, you have a phone, you have an iPad, well, everything you want. And she goes, "But why? Why would I want to be born again?" She said, "I will
Mhm.
live my life and I will enjoy my life like this, but that's it." Right?
Mhm.
Which in my head, I was like, How? What do you mean that's it? What do you yeah, for me that was like the most, and again, like nobody knows, right? But at least I believe
Right.
in reincarnation, and I believe that I want to be reborn and, you know, to do something better or to achieve something more or to, like, I don't know, something else. But this one's like, no, why? I'm here, I'm alive, I'm gonna do my life, and that's it. I'm done. So so I think maybe that's the point, that maybe that is the end for us. That's how we're supposed to, I mean, I don't know, it cease to exist. We're just gonna like do this type of transition into like half alive, half not alive, like virtually alive but not really. And then just like That's it. We were just
disappear, dissolve in the thin air. I don't know. That's very, very sad. That's a sad situation to look at.
That's
Wow.
why one thought came to my mind about that. So if we can connect dots with the experiment about rats and all this future things, which is so hard to believe now. So I think that is spiritual life actually. So because if you start to do something in that area, it feels like there is no any ending. So it can be like infinite, or I don't know. So
Mhm.
it still looks so interesting, so many things to explore, all these books for all kind of religions actually. And that feels, because if you watch, I've heard, I'm not sure if I'm correct now, but I've heard there's that amount of suicide, the biggest among the richest people,
Mhm.
because they achieved everything. Say that they start to lose the reason why of faster, right? And that's why um, I was thinking, what are the richest people do for not lose the interest? And I found
Mhm.
out there the majority of them. I mean, those who looks happy, because there are always a huge amount
Yeah.
of kinds of people. I found out that they do a lot of charity, because it's actually this kind of spiritual way, right? So you're
It
just
gives meaning to their lives, new meaning to their
right,
lives.
but then think
Help
about it.
someone.
Who do they give this charity to? To people who are in need, but there's not going to be any more need. That's
Yes, 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 yes. But that was an example of spirituality, actually.
Mhm.
And I believe that will be a solution. Not maybe for everybody, that's for sure. Like it always
Not
is
for
not for,
majority.
yeah, not for majority. But that idea came to my mind, and I think it has a big right to stay there. And that's what I start to think about. I don't know how spiritual life would look like.
Mhm.
I don't know, the virtual church or the virtual, I don't know, mosque.
Right, right.
But still,
But
but
still, and also you think about it when we were talking about like the physical, right? So in my head, when you're talking about physical changes that could happen to the body that doesn't really want to move, that only wants to stay in one place, you know what came to my head? An image of the gray aliens. How we picture them. A gray
Yeah,
alien
well,
with a big head, big
yeah,
eyes, teeny
yeah.
tiny skinny arms, right? Teeny tiny skinny legs
and long fingers.
and long fingers because you have to play the joystick right?
Yeah,
You
like
have to
this,
hold it.
like they're like looking like a shrimp because the back is going.
Because and you know why it's funny? You know why it's funny? It's because if you think about it logically, right? You would think, oh, then there's going to be a lot of obese people who are just going to be, 300 pounds or whatever, and they're
Yeah.
just going to be sitting there in their chairs and playing all day long. But that's not what came to my mind. What came to my mind is atrophy, the muscular atrophy, right? They're not going to have any muscles, which if you remember that the gray alien, they're very skinny, teeny tiny stick arms, and huge head because you would have to hold all of that, I don't know, virtual information somewhere. Big eyes because you would have to see, through whatever we're like 3D glasses or whatever we'll have. And they're skinny because they're not eating, because they don't need to be eating, because they're in their virtual world, they're eating inside there, you know what I'm saying? Like, and that relates to my experience with Sims. For those 5 days I didn't feel hunger, I didn't feel the need to go eat, to go pee, to go, like, nothing. I went, yes, eventually, but it wasn't as acute. I really didn't need anything. And I'm a person who loves to eat. Listen, if you know something about me, it's like I want to eat always. I'm always hungry. And imagine what kind of interest it held for me not to be hungry.
That could be somebody predicted how we're gonna look, and they even have images. But they say that in 100 years, humans are gonna look completely different from what they look. No, not completely. Still two arms and two legs and one head, but like just features. gonna look different. And yeah, but girls, Yulia, did you hear anything positive? Like, what are we gonna do? Do we have any plans? Like, what jobs are going to exist? Most jobs are going to disappear, but something is going to stay. Like, what did you hear anything about that besides, staying in the virtual world is really not that positive?
I'm not sure I've like heard some ready decisions, but I started to think with my not artificial but natural intelligence. So the only thing I've heard, so that's what I wanted to say, that everything that will be connected with, so any job that will be connected with sitting in front of the screen can be replaced very fast.
So coding, design, like gaming design, like IT people are gonna thrive basically.
IT people already are going down, yeah.
So this is what they said, and actually, I like that example that gave me my brother, and he said nobody's so like human needs human, right? And nobody gonna be very interested into watching how, for example, like the game of chess, playing chess. Nobody's gonna watch like one machine is playing with another machine, right? So it's not interesting. And I believe that what will AI give us, that's gonna be a cheap, more cheap, popular kind of services, right?
Accessible.
Yeah, accessible services. Like AI psychologist gonna be more cheap than the real human. That get the real empathy. And I believe that only talented people, only involved people will gonna overcome this revolution, AI revolution. So
Yeah.
otherwise, it's not gonna be, nobody needs it.
Attractive.
Otherwise.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
But
What
okay,
also?
but remember there in Japan, there's this guy. Well, of course, Japan, because this is where we get our interesting news from. Is from Japan. Remember that guy who married his like sex robot? He had like a silicone doll that would talk, and I don't know if it had AI or didn't have, but
Yeah.
he
Mhm.
basically married that. And because he's like, oh, she's very nice to me, and she never talks back to me, and whatever, and she's always in a good mood, so I'm just gonna marry her. How about that human to human contact? Why wouldn't humans prefer someone who is always nice to them, someone who doesn't get mad, someone who doesn't have PMS, someone who
Yeah.
doesn't have, how, like, even like in the example that you gave, like a human psychologist or psychiatrist will cost more than AI. But why? Why would you
Yeah.
want to talk to a human who can have biases, can have their own, perceptions of the world, stereotypes, and might not treat you the way that you want to be treated, where you have a machine who's completely objective. The machine doesn't care if you're white, black, if you're a woman, if you're a boy, if you're whoever, if you're transgender, they don't care. The machines are just like, okay, you have a problem, here's a solution, or you have this, you try this. Why would we pay more for human contact if it's flawed? Or
Yeah, that's what
not,
they
not
say.
that it is, but can be.
Yeah, that's what they say. It's gonna be they're gonna human gonna marry robots, AIs, whatever. In 30 years, I think it's gonna happen much sooner. And they show those robots in like different shows in Japan, for example. It's very advanced. They look completely like human beings. There's like no difference. And you can put like any task. You can like put the program any way you want. If you want a beachy side of your partner, you can program it as being a beach, right? If you want a nice person, you can program it's a nice person, and she's gonna cook, she's gonna clean, or she's gonna beat you up, whatever you want, and she's gonna be looking the way you wanted her to look or him to look. Why not for women the same? And that's gonna be probably the great better option for a lot of people. As for me dating, I cannot find a person who fits me. I find a robot who's gonna be doing everything for me, maybe make more money too, because he's an AI companion. And Yeah, why not? And also about like we need talent and we want to see real people playing chess, for example. The AI generated characters now look already realistic. They're gonna be even more realistic in 5 years. You're not gonna see any difference. You won't even know who plays those chess. You won't know. So, um, how we're gonna even distinguish this is a real person, this is not? On TikTok, people watch more videos right now that were created by AI than real people. We don't know what news are real now because it's a lot of it generated. So we already like almost with one leg in there, with one foot. We're very close to step there with our second foot.
The line is very thin. I agree with you. But I think I have an answer why.
Mm-hmm.
And the answer is a free will, because AI doesn't have the free will. So you can program what you want to hear. And actually, the why I'm saying that, because I was reading a book, like ancient book, in Hinduism, or I don't even remember. I've like by audio. I was listening by audio, and there were answer actually already. Because if everything is being done by your desire, you feel like a little god, right? And
Mm-hmm.
there was an answer in that book, because from the real god, like from the god. So why god likes like people want to communicate with people, because they got the
Mm-hmm.
free will, you know.
Okay.
You're if you have for example, some love from the machine, which doesn't have a choice actually, this you don't value that, it's not interesting. But if you got the love from the person, from anybody who got the free will to love or not to love you, that becomes a very valuable thing for you. That's become the reason for you.
But what do you think about this if we go further and we watch a lot of movies? We watch Terminator, we watch Aliens, and a lot of movies were AI, and we didn't even know it was AI. We just thought it was a robot, right? AI it became a few years ago. Get their own mind and do their own things. Can we get to that point? Because ChatGPT already, or some other platform, that it tried to, get out of the human control and do their own things. And this is insane. This is the next level.
Like Sarah O'Connell told us.
Have you seen that meme where it's a picture of Sarah Connor, right? And she's like sitting like this, and the meme says, "This is Sarah Connor watching you tell AI your whole life."
Yeah, I've seen
Sad
that.
picture of her. It's a sad picture. She's like sad.
Yeah.
Susie
Mm.
came. Look, she's saying
Yeah,
hi.
there is never AI will never, or maybe will replace that. Maybe it will replace animals as well. They already kind of.
I don't know. I don't think anyone can replace my little puffy cat. She's so
And
pretty. She's perfect,
that is the answer. That is an answer. We
right?
are they're human beings. We're life, and we like also uh, creatures that we
That
know
are
that
alive,
alive. They're alive. Yes.
that have a soul.
Yeah.
Sometimes the line is very thin.
Right,
Sometimes
but think about that, right? If we're talking about souls, right? Again, we're talking about energy, right? And nobody knows if we have a soul or not, right? But I choose to believe that we do. And
Okay.
some people can probably tell me no, right? Soul wise, how do we know that AI cannot have a soul? Remember the movie I,
Exactly.
Robot? Remember how the robot became so attached to a human that, and they, well, obviously it's a movie, right? But they made it look like it had a soul.
Yeah.
And it had human features. So then how can we say 100% that no, this is never going to happen, and this is not going to go beyond just serving us and beyond just being that?
Приключения электроника. How do you translate that movie?
That's right. I don't know. Adventures of a Electric Boy.
The Adventures of the AI, whatever it is, right?
Right.
How many years ago that movie was created?
Oh, I
And
don't
that
think I
was,
was born yet.
yeah, it was a boy who was an electronic boy with electronic brains and everything, but it became emotional. It became, have like it's made real friends, and he became a real boy, like Pinocchio. I want to be a real boy.
That's right.
Pinocchio is an eye if you think about it, right? I want to be a real boy.
Yeah.
And
So-
it's like it's an endless, type of debate because we don't really know how it's gonna go.
Mhm.
Nobody knows. And if you told me, I don't know, some 20 years ago, which 20 years ago I was what, 17, right? If you told me, 17-year-old me, that I'm gonna have a phone that doesn't have any buttons on it,
All right.
tell you you're crazy. If somebody told me that I have a phone that is a camera that can access the internet, that can post things, that can do I would tell you like you're crazy. That's not
Yeah.
true. It's not gonna
And-
happen.
Yeah, but if you remember, if I don't know if you liked science fiction and like science fiction books,
Yeah.
but I think a lot of people were, in childhood here more likes that stuff. None of the writers predicted that. Predicted like traveling to other
No,
planets.
no, that's not true. That's not true. Remember Ray
Yeah.
Bradbury? One of my favorite books ever is by Ray Bradbury, where he was talking about a fireman whose job,
Mhm.
what was it? Something Fahrenheit. I always forget the number. I can't
Right,
remember
right.
the
For,
number.
for something for something Fahrenheit. Yeah.
472 Fahrenheit or something like
Yeah.
that. But he was talking about that. He was talking about spending life in virtual reality. The fireman's wife was sitting in a room, which was basically all screens,
Mm-hmm.
had those he called it, I think he called it like seashells. He called
Mm-hmm.
it seashells in her ears, and she would barely respond to him because she was so submerged into that virtual reality that was on 3 screens around her, that she was sitting in.
Yeah, that's true. That's one of the stories. Yeah, that's true. I actually wrote also a few books, and I wrote 2 science fiction books, and one of them I wrote in about 2010, something like this. It was about 17 years and the future and how I saw it. There is I didn't see AI. I didn't see any of this. I couldn't imagine that. And I'm like, yeah, like a lot of things change. People didn't eat meat, for example, because there's not enough stock and stuff like that. But like how you do stuff in the store, how you pay for stuff, like things like that, talking refrigerators, but never what happens right now could I possibly imagine. That's like crazy. And talking about jobs, I think there's some jobs that still will exist forever, like for example owning a farm. Like, yeah, maybe robots are going to collect fruits and vegetables, but somebody has to own that farm, right? For example, some of the doctors will exist. Like, I will never, for example, allow somebody, I know, take a shot on my eye like a robot. I want a human do it, for example, right? Unless you get used to it. And we know a lot of things that when robots start already fighting, like, did you see? Oh, it's in my mind a little bit goes in different places. So I try
Stop
to
drinking
collect it.
coffee.
I know, but I want to talk about so many things. But do you remember that maybe you saw this video on Amazon? I think where they pack stuff. There was a robot that looked like a robot, and it got pissed off and started throwing boxes at the worker. Did you see that video?
Why didn't?
It didn't look like human being. It was just a normal robot, metallic, like stick and metallic, just handles. And it's like got pissed and started throwing boxes on the human. That's crazy. And it was a few years ago.
I don't think it got pissed. It probably like something's wrong with the wiring or something.
But imagine the robot will get pissed and does surgery. That's what I'm coming to. Does
Right.
surgery on you, right? And it got already
Short circuits or something, right?
on and got, oop, I hate you, human, and start,
Stop.
slicing.
Oh God. Wow.
Imagine that.
So the
Uh,
bottom line is we know it's coming. We don't know what it's gonna look like. We can only try to imagine. We can make predictions, right? But I guess we're just gonna have to live it.
and hope, well, not hope for the best, but with these things developing, we still like with COVID, we didn't know where it's going when it started, right? We didn't know anything about this, so we just know basics. With time it goes, maybe we'll get more sense of it, and we'll find our place in this new universe. Like at least we can hope, right?
I'm sure it's not gonna, it looks so sharp and now, and looks like it's gonna be like before and after, like in one day, but it's not gonna be like that, I'm sure. So
Yeah.
it's gonna be more soft. We can get prepared naturally. So we can adopt, we can
No, definitely. 100%. When ChatGPT first came out, I was like, I'm not using that.
Yeah, me too.
Same
I'm
here.
not gonna use that. Guess what? I'm using him now.
All the time.
It hasn't even been a year, probably, right? How long has it been?
It was been
Yeah.
about 3 years, but yeah.
The most
I-
popular is like last year, I think.
Last
Yeah.
So can you
Someone
imagine, right? It took us this much to get used to and use it because it's really so useful. It's so
It's great.
insightful.
It's so much better than people.
Right? It's so much easier. So definitely that's something that's coming. We know, and we're gonna get used to it. We're gonna get through it, especially us, the 80s babies, right? The 70s, 80s babies. We went through so much. We can adjust.
Well, we'll try to do our best, but I want to address at the end of our recording. I want to address that Julia is in Georgia now, and she doesn't communicate in English every day, but her English is beautiful, and
And I'm so proud of her. I'm so proud of you, Yulia, that you did it. I know she had her reservations, Natasha. She was like, well, I need to prepare. I need to do this. I need to that. I'm like, no. It's okay. You're gonna do great. So you
you
see,
coached her, right?
with a
You
little
coached her.
push,
She was
with,
your coach Julia this time around.
with a
Thank
little
you
push, she did
for your
wonderful.
trust. Actually, I
Amazing.
got
Julia.
GPT to be prepared, by the way.
Oh my God, no, don't tell us.
That's great. Well, thank you, ChatGPT, that you prepared Julia to come and talk to us today. Thank you, everyone who kept us on, and thank you, everyone who's listening. Do like our page, do subscribe to our page on wherever you're listening, either YouTube or where are we? Where are we except for YouTube?
Yes, we're YouTube, we're TikTok, we're Instagram, we're Instagram Shorts, TikTok Shorts, and
There we go.
not Shopify, Spotify. You can listen us on Spotify,
Spotify.
and soon on Apple Podcast as well.
That's great. So wherever you're listening to us, thank you so much for listening. Do subscribe, and we love you very much. Until later.
And always stay positive, and there is a light at the end of the tunnel. We'll get there. When we get there, we'll see it. So thank you so much, Julia, and you were amazing. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for having me. And I believe that Sarah Connell will be very proud of all of us.
Oh,
Let's
Sarah.
make her proud.
let's make her proud. That's right. Until next time. Bye.
Bye, everyone.